So the scene behind me now looks rather different from the one I've just shown you in the back of my camera. I came out very early today. I've been looking at the forecast and there was a strong suggestion there would be some mist very early in the morning around sunrise. So I made the effort, got out, and I was treated to some wonderful mist. In fact, I would say it was actually thick fog. You could not see very far at all. You still can't at the moment, but I'm hoping I capture something quite special behind me literally about 10 minutes ago. The sun, you can actually just see it in the water behind me here reflecting and in the sky. It's just breaking through the mist. And about 10 minutes ago it did break through and it created some wonderful light, some really nice atmosphere on the trees at the far side of the water. Now it's in focus, my image, but it's going to be a soft image due to the mist and the way the sun was backlighting the trees and just the shafts of light coming down. So there's not going to be excellent detail in this image, but it's going to be loaded with atmosphere, and I hope it has got a special feeling to it, this image. When we're taking images, it's quite difficult to capture the actual feeling and atmosphere that we experience when we're actually here for real. At the moment I can feel the air, I can get a sense of the mist coming and going slightly, the sun breaking through, so it's really just a case of trying to do our best to capture that special moment in an image. In the image you can't hear what's going on in the scene, you can't feel the air on your face, so at the time I captured my image, if I've captured 75% of the feeling I had when I looked across the water and saw it, it really was special, and I feel I've done the best job I possibly can. So fingers crossed it's going to come out nice once it's edited. So the sun never really appeared back at the spot I was just in. It was pretty much just looking out into mist, so I never got it in that wonderful atmospheric conditions I did earlier. So I went off and explored a bit, and these two trees off in the distance here behind me, you may struggle to see them in the video, have been really nice in the mist. The mist is coming and going. When I captured the image it was a bit more dense, and I think it really made the scene look its best. So I've got some nice leading lines in the heather up towards the trees. There's sort of a break in the heather and there's a line of grass which leads up to the trees, and then there is this partially obscured line of trees in the background being obscured by the mist. So I think it makes for a very atmospheric shot. One that certainly you could have walked past maybe 30 minutes ago because you couldn't even see the trees, but when I captured the image, as I say, they were a bit more obscured by the mist and I think it looked its best. So another nice shot hopefully, and it's hard to tell if the mist is actually going to clear. I did think the sun would break through, it's definitely trying at times, but so far the mist is certainly persevering and hanging around, so fingers crossed it will do that and I'll find some more nice images. So these really are dream conditions for photography today. I feel the best of it is now over. Literally in the last 2 minutes the sun has started to come out and I think it's going to burn through the mist and make it quite a bright day, but it's been an absolute pleasure to be out. This is probably going to be my last image for today. If I do take any more I won't be vlogging them. I'll put up a little bit of text saying I've taken some more and you can see them at the end of the video. I thought this would be a good point just to interrupt the video briefly for a few minutes to talk about two further images that I was fortunate enough to be able to capture on that particular day. The sun did indeed eventually overpower the mist, it broke through and the mist slowly vanished, but I was able to capture a couple of images that I was really pleased with. The one that you can see on screen now really had a magical feel to it. The atmosphere in this woodland was tremendous, and I spent quite a lot of time walking around this scene before I eventually settled on this composition. I really liked the fallen tree over to the right of the frame, and obviously the sunlight that was breaking through the mist was truly magical. I really liked how it was coming in from the top of the frame on the tree at the distance. The tree over to the left, they all had this wonderful golden glow, and some of that on the branch that I decided to include coming in from the top right of the frame as well. The sense that I got when I was at this scene was that there was this fallen tree here, and these trees, which had this very old look to them and were glowing with the sunlight, were sort of guarding this tree, and there was lots of other trees all around it looking in on this fallen tree. But these main trees here were sort of guarding it. That's the image that created in my head when I was actually there. I also really liked the rocks and moss in the foreground, and this sort of semicircle curve of fern as well I think really adds to the scene. It just gives it a nice splash of colour. But the lighting was truly magical in this scene, and there's so much detail. If I zoom in here just to show you, you can see all the very fine detail on the tree branches and the drops of water on them. There's some here as well. You can see a number of spider webs as well. There's one under the branch here. But just a truly magical scene, and one which I was very fortunate to find and capture on that day. Moving on, this is the final image that I captured on that particular day. It was such a nice way to end the day. It's an image that I'm really pleased with. When I arrived at this scene, there was a bit more mist than you can actually see in this particular image, but by the time I had explored it and got my composition set up, the mist had cleared just a little bit, but there's still enough in this image for it to add to the image. There's some mist still at the far side of the water, in the trees, and also at the water's edge. It gives them a very nice look, and it also helps separate them from this really nice tree, which is the main focal point in the image. The tree is being side lit from the sun, which was setting off to the right, so it's got a really nice glow to it. And I wanted to create a very simple but powerful composition, making the tree the emphasis of the image, but using the nice reflections in the water as well, just to create a very peaceful, calm, nice looking scene, because that's the feeling that I got when I was actually there. So that's the two images that I captured, but I'll now cut back to the video and you can see the one I took at the actual river. But this may well be my last shot. We've got this wonderful tree leaning over the river from the right. The sun has been coming down from the top left, giving it a little bit of light. It's now a little bit too bright for my personal taste, but I captured it when it was really nice using my Lee Big Stopper, the 10-stop ND filter. Went for about a 15-second exposure. I thought smoothing out the water with that 15-second exposure added to the calm look of the image with the mist. Obviously at the moment it sounds quite hectic due to the noise, but it's a really peaceful scene, so I think the long exposure complemented it. But I've really enjoyed it today. It's been a pleasure to be out. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Thanks so much as always for your time, and I'll hopefully see you in my next vlog.